Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. An extremely strange situation is taking place right now in modern boxing with one person in particular, happens to be Claressa Shields. Very, very strange situation. Now, a lot of you follow combat sports. But I'm going to ask you, is the situation with Clarissa Shields not one of the strangest stories you've ever heard? Where you got a fighter universally respected for the achievements while simultaneously becoming one of the most disliked. There's no need to keep talking about her achievements. We know that, right? The talent, we know that. Where is she going to be in boxing? She's part of boxing history already. She's part of American history, sports history. But I'm listening, man, and I'm watching. And of course, they got people who come out here and they try to, they give her back a taste of her own medicine with being very aggressive online and saying things about her. Y'all know that ain't really my style, but I do talk about her because she's interesting to me. But I'm not going to lie. I am shocked to hear people openly admit that they don't care at all about anything about Clarissa, career, anything. Anything you think where somebody would kind of make an exception. You know what I mean? The however comma, nah. They're like, we don't enjoy following nothing about her. We want her gone. And to me, it's just fascinating to sit back and see people who were supporting her decide, we're tired. The non-supporters have always been there. But most of the non-supporters initially did support her. But I've had several people that I've seen who used to come into my comments and basically, trying to stiff arm me and kind of force me a direction with the conversation they wanted it to go. And they knew that wasn't going to happen. Now coming in saying, we're over here now, we're tired. And I'm like, what's going on here? Now I'm seeing everything y'all are seeing. But me, it's like a case study to me. How does someone become the most decorated fighter in women's boxing and struggle to get widespread admiration with that level of greatness? Now, some people say the answer is not simple. I think the answer is pretty damn simple. But I still wonder, how is it to where people just want you gone? Oh, you off the internet? Good, thank God. Whew, let's have a party. Who barbecuing that chicken? Man, please, y'all ain't barbecuing. God ain't gone too far. Clarissa, these people out here ain't trying to hear you. I'm just wondering when she's going to stop and really understand the situation she's created. The personality, expectations, the social media crap, public perception, the divide between achievement, likability, even the divisiveness she's trying to create amongst Black people, amongst women. It's crazy. So we already know when she put those gloves on, she's different. So that question's been answered. But I'm sitting here and I know what some people say, but I'm really trying to understand how all these fans, even those who supported her, now appear increasingly tired of the drama surrounding her and why the public perception has become one of the defining stories of what I think is her final years in boxing. Look, let's be honest. Clarissa been boxing, what, 10 plus years? Clarissa ain't going to be around another 10. Maybe she does. I don't see it. She got too many things she wants to do. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest thing is having a little Pap Jr. Pap Jr. Pap. Brrr. She want a little Pap Jr. running around the crib. Yo, whatever they do with that, that's their thing. But I'm telling you, 2027 is going to be a big year for content creators because like we've been talking about for months on my channel, What if it doesn't happen? But that's a whole nother conversation. Now, fans rooting against great athletes, because it ain't just Clarissa. Sports history is filled with examples of athletes who became larger than life. Sometimes success creates admiration. We'd agree. Other times, success creates resentment. Fans often turn against athletes for several reasons, right? Constant self-promotion. A lot of supporters like that confidence. They even like when the fans dislike you, as long as the fans turn up and pay to see you lose. But what happens is with that self-confidence, right, it ends up becoming a struggle because it's like we say, self-praise is no recommendation. Every time somebody talks to you, the conversations about self-praise, you praising yourself, that shit gets old. And I think when it comes to the fans, when they watch these athletes, they just prefer the accomplishments speak for themselves. And when you have someone who's repeatedly reminding the audience of their greatness, what they have, fans begin to feel that they're being lectured rather than inspired. They don't want to hear that shit. And over time, that admiration that they once had becomes fatigue. Now, this thing about public feuds, everybody like you tell us, I always joke, have somebody make a joke. Why did chicken cross the road to get to the other side? And then have somebody make a joke, something very, offensive, a lot of profanity, like a Kevin Hart versus Bill Cosby. Is Bill Cosby funny? Yeah, hardy ha ha. But then, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, Andrew Dice Clay. There's a big difference in the humor. Same things, man, when it comes to fans and being entertained and feuding in public. You have a shouting match, whatever. You start putting your hands on people, problem. But people get entertained by the public conflicts. But when there's endless conflicts, endless drama, every week something new, some rivalry, some controversy, the attention shifts away from athletic accomplishments. And now athletes become known more for headlines than performances and about drama, and that shit can be dangerous. And what we've seen happen here with a lot of athletes is they've fallen from grace. And with Clarissa, she has crashed and burned as far as her brand, her profile, everything. Now, are eyes still on her? Yeah, but they're not on her for the right reasons. Some are. She does have supporters. She has the Gwodies. They wake up every morning, get a big bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, jump on the internet, don't even wash their ass, floss and brush their teeth, get that yampy out their eye, and they right on there, on their phone, on their computer, whatever. Defending Clarissa. Fighting the critics, her fans, just like her, instead of trying to win them over. Look, man, I'm a retired dude. I do my little videos. Everybody gets criticized and shit. Some of us just don't care. But you get others who care and they got to feel like you got to respond to everything. And when you're a high profile figure like Clarissa, they face criticism. They're going to face criticism. You know what I mean? No matter how, I say, as far as your personality, no matter how clean you are, how professional you are, no, it doesn't matter. You're going to get criticized. The most beloved athletes often ignore most of it. They're just like, whatever. But when you get those who choose to battle every critic, that's what some of the critics want, because it gives them more to talk about. Every response creates another argument. Every argument creates another critic. Eventually, the athletic, I would say, let me say it this way, right? I was going to talk about, the athletic posture and stuff of athletes. I'll just leave it as this. Eventually, the athlete appears to be fighting the public as much as opponents. And that's what's happened here. That's why when people talk about Clarissa, it hasn't been about the boxing. But, I'm more curious about that. So that's why I'm like, what's she doing? Because she sure as hell disappeared. Got quiet, more quiet than usual, right? Now, this whole thing about appearing unapproachable, Clarissa even said, man, people come around me, I keep my quills out. And I'm paraphrasing. And once I get to know you, then, maybe I'll be a bit more personable. But she likes to come off with the bad attitude. That's her disposition till she gets to know you. So how can any fan feel connected to an athlete that acts that way? You know, they want authenticity. You know what I'm saying? They want humanity. But at the same time, they don't want somebody, every time they talk to them, they're on the edge. The fans start saying, what are they going to do next? You see, when supporters begin feeling dismissed, attacked, unappreciated, loyalty can disappear quickly. And that's what's happened here with Claressa Shields. Now, how did she become one of boxing's most divisive figures? It's actually crazy. One of the major challenges for Shields is just how people view her. Now, she views herself one way, majority of public views her a totally different way. So it's contrasting views. A lot of fans say, you know what, she spent years fighting for respect. Women's boxing historically received less attention, fewer opportunities, lower paydays. So she came in, positioned herself as someone demanding recognition rather than waiting for it. And a lot of the supporters admired that approach, but others see it differently. They're like, yo, she is messaging, her messaging is gradually shifting from demanding respect to demanding you praise me, demanding you tell me I'm the greatest woman of all time. Demand, demand, demand. That's not how that works. Okay? Now, you may say, nah, Hood, man, that's debatable. Oh, okay. Look, I'm just having a conversation with you. Because my perception is that she's trying to force people to have a certain view on her that's not their own. That's her own. People are going to have people that we ain't all going to agree on that shit. But she has to understand, and her fans have to understand, and sometimes even I got to understand when dealing with people that perception often becomes reality. And when you're a public figure like she is in sports, something she has to deal with. Nobody want to hear someone keep telling me, I'm the GOAT. Man, please. Pep. Tell him, Pep, I'm the GOAT. You better say it. Nobody want to hear that shit. They start resisting the message. Now, I definitely think self-esteem, self-efficacy, man, confidence, boom, you should have that. Everybody should have that. But when every time, Amanda Serrano, man, Katie Taylor, Baumgarten, y'all want to be the GOAT, come beat me. You beat me and you can say that. But if you don't, it's just overwhelming, man. The more she's repeated that, the stronger the resistance has become. That's why people don't even want to hear that. That's why you hear people refer to other women as the GOAT. That's why somebody say don't even use that damn term. You know what I mean? Because it's a cycle. So then she may feel, and some of her supporters feel, yo, she's underappreciated. When she leaves, what y'all gonna think? How y'all gonna feel? Let me tell you something, man. How are people gonna feel? How do people feel right now? You know what I mean? People are annoyed. You know, it's just a cycle, man. Athlete feels underappreciated because they have a different lens of how they see themselves. Fans become annoyed. The athlete, again, starts to feel underappreciated. Fans become annoyed. The cycle continues until I think athletes like Clarissa Shields take accountability. Now, this thing about social media is a problem, man. I've been saying this forever. Twitter, to me, is one of the most toxic places ever. That shit is horrible. But, man, you want to destroy your reputation? Social media. Social media is one of the most powerful reputation destroyers for anybody, especially when it comes to sports. You know what I'm saying? Remember, the previous generations, that's the past. That shit, ain't no going back there. Where athletes could control their image through interviews and performances. It's over, folks. That's gone. Today, every post becomes a headline. Every argument becomes public. What you wear, what you eating, the car you driving, jewelry you have on, if you comb your head, whose child you with, dog bit the cat. It doesn't matter. Shoes you wearing. If you went outside in the rain, windshield wipers, them windshield wipers need to be changed out. They look at everything. Oh, she driving without a seatbelt. Everything. Mm-hmm. He ain't cutting their grass. They watch everything. Everything becomes a headline. And that's why if I understand that, you all understand that, what's the deal with her and her team? Because everything she does, the shit goes public. It's public and it goes viral. You know what I mean? And the thing is, shit becomes permanent. The stuff that she's doing online, it becomes permanent. 20 years from now, this stuff that she has out here will still be here. She has to deal with that 30, 40 years from now. She's blessed to live that long. It's still going to be here. She'll be 70 years old and someone will be talking to her. Some young reporter. So, Mrs. Woke, I saw some footage of you back when you were a champ in your 30s, you know, looked like you, what was that about? Can you explain what you were going through during that time? And she'd be like, man, please. Don't bring up that bullshit. I was 30, 31 years old. I'm 70 years old now. What you want to talk about? Huh? Papoose, pap. That's what you want to talk about? Hood champion over here. He 90 years old. He 20 years older than me. He's still alive. He's still over there making them goddamn jokes. What? You talking about something that happened when I was 31? And yet I know Pap, there was no Pap Jr. Pap and I didn't get married. Pap gone. He over there somewhere. I don't know, in Cuba. I don't know where he's at. But man, please. Don't be bringing up that bullshit. Like, ma'am, I was just curious. It's just so much interesting shit out here on you. But I'm just telling y'all, man. Social media can become an addiction. I think that's what happened to Clarissa, man. She always want to respond. And the thing is, she responds. Do it in a tweet, but the videos, just stop doing the damn videos. Content creators love it because it gives them content. You know what I'm saying? But, man, always want to defend yourself. I don't see why people feel the need to defend. Like with me, a lot of you, I ain't going to quit talking about me and shit. Who cares what somebody thinks about you, especially on the internet? They don't know you just like you don't know them. And I'm telling you this right here. This is a fact. Most of the people who are out here being overly negative and looking for drama, they have less happiness in their life than you have. So fuck them. But Clarissa always feels tempted to want to defend herself. It's a constant with her. She want to prove the critics wrong, prove her colleagues wrong. Anyone says something about her family, everything she want to come out and prove everyone wrong. I'm okay, you're not okay. Man, please. Everybody talking shit about me. I'm okay. Yeah. She ain't trying to hit a shit. Let me tell you something, man. Legendary athletes discovered something very important. The more they argue with critics, the more they argue with fans, the more power critics gain, the more power fans gain. For someone in Shields' position, social media may have amplified every controversy while overshadowing accomplishments. Sex, money, her career. I ain't going to say murder, but I say assault. Everything, man. You see, you got to understand, greatness isn't enough. Greatness doesn't guarantee popularity. You understand? History has countless examples of this, man. Some champions become loved, others become respected but disliked. Fans don't only judge athletes by wins, they judge them by their behavior. They judge them by attitude. They judge them by how they treat people. Fairly or unfairly, those factors matter. An athlete can be historically great and still lose the public relations battle. How do young people say, facts, no blue hat, no blue hat? I'm telling y'all the truth, man. And there's a huge danger of becoming a person that people want to see lose. And this is the thing. That petition is a big deal. But outside of that, they want her to lose. They want her to find out that her house is rented or she loses these houses where they had the tax issues on, you know. At least that's the rumor floating around. They want to hear that the jury is rented, it gets, somebody may have pawned it or it got taken back. They want to know, they want to see her fail, man. But it wasn't always like that. This is the thing. Anyone who wants to say, oh, people are wrong, man, they didn't always feel that way. And Clarissa's at a dangerous stage, and it happens in every athlete's career where they can get to a dangerous stage, man. When fans stop wanting to see you win, that means they'll stop buying tickets, they'll stop supporting you. That is a problem. Instead, fans buy tickets hoping to see you lose. Some say, well, they're still buying tickets. Nah, because their energy ain't the same. And once that transition happens, public perception becomes extremely difficult to reverse. Because if they want to see you lose, okay, maybe they come out, pay to see you lose. Okay, your live gate's doing well. But anything, merch and all that other stuff, it bombs. You know what I mean? Because it comes to the point that whatever victory you have or anything good going on in your life, personally, professionally, it annoys people, especially the critics. So every mistake, everything becomes magnified. Every controversy becomes evidence for existing opinions, just like her cutting them them toenails and all that shit in the gym. Shit was magnified because people are watching. They're just annoyed. But that is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. I know y'all seen the video, cutting fingernails and shit. And I mean, I understand she had to get the shit cut off. You know what I mean? I don't know nothing about fingernails, but I know the ladies know. But I'll tell you, even me, I'm watching. I'm like, you know, you got to come and train. Now listen. Every morning I go to the boxing gym and I do my thing. Then I come back and get maybe one or two of my sons. But my youngest, he goes about, this summer he's been going about 4 days a week, right? I come back and get him and we work. But even the little man knows if he has on his little bracelet with his name on it or whatever, take all that shit off. You know what I'm saying? He got to wrap his hands and everything. If an 8, soon to be 9-year-old knows I'm going to the gym, let me get this shit off. You know what I'm saying? Big whoop. She don't realize you're going to the gym with these big stinking nails to take that shit off. But you want to video you doing that. You know what? It just lets me know, man, again, she's seeking validation or seeking attention or trying to go viral. And she goes viral all the time. But people are sitting back watching. Look, nobody told her to do that. But of course, they're going to magnify it because it has everybody scratching their heads. So I'll tell you what, man, the controversy becomes evidence for existing opinions. You know what I mean? They're like, look, we told you. See, here it is again. You know what I'm saying? And athletes who reach this stage often discover that their biggest opponent, like I said, it's not just inside the ring, it's so many other areas. But the public's opinion, and I'm telling you, she's not going to be able to escape that. It's that bad right now. Now, am I saying I hope she can never come out the beltway, get across the finish line, and be back in the good grace of fans? No, I'm not wishing bad on her. I'm just telling you from my experience, and I don't mind being wrong. That's the thing. I don't give a fuck. But I'm telling you, I just don't see her being able to recover, man. You know, for her to recover with all the damage that she's done, all the catastrophic fucking damage that she has a lot of work to do. But I just don't know. But then again, I've never been a professional athlete. I don't know what she can do. Maybe she got certain person she can become aligned with, and through that individual that can help offset some of the drama. I don't know. But I do know someone in that position to fix it. There are ideas. You know what I mean? When you see a relationship with fans that has deteriorated to the point of Clarissa Shields' relationship with fans, I mean, rebuilding trust, her champion doesn't see it. But if there's a will, there's a way, I guess, right? First step, obviously, stop all the arguing. Not every criticism deserves a response. Stop calling people out their names. Stop. I know Clarissa been through a lot growing up. I understand. Maybe I understand that a bit more than other people. But that's no excuse for the bullshit. But stop responding to every criticism. Yo, sometimes you got to take a deep breath and just be quiet. That shit is way more powerful than engagement. But it seems like she just has tight skin. She must take hot showers because her skin and her mouth just stay open. She can't close. If she close her mouth, she may fold over. Like, she can't close her mouth. Somebody need to help her with that. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Go seek professional assistance, man. Maybe they can help her come to a point to where she learns the importance of taking a deep breath, blowing it out, and then just saying to yourself, man, fuck them, and going about your business. You know what I mean? So less arguing, more gratitude. Fans appreciate acknowledgement, man. Simple gestures often have a greater impact than dramatic speeches. Nobody want to hear that, you know what I mean? Come on out here, man. Start showing a bit more love to people, man. Everything can't be attacks, even if she doesn't mean nothing. She had women who were supporting her when she made that comments about red bones and all that shit. And then they come now talking about, the dark skin and this and light skin this and that shit. There are fans who just happen to be light skinned who were supporting Clarissa, and when she made that first statement, they let it pass. That second shit that she's been pushing, they ain't trying to hear. They don't care for her no more. Because especially with the women out here go through a lot. Light skin, brown skin, dark skin, white, whatever, man. Women go through a lot. And they all have experiences where they've been made to feel because of their complexion that maybe, they weren't being treated nicely. So Clarissa really burnt a bridge, man, with a lot of her own fans because of this shit about color, So for her to get beyond that, I don't know what she can do. But I do know one thing is the most important is just let your performance speak. But she got to be careful apologizing because we talk about that. If you apologize, you got to be consistent. You can't apologize today and then come back tomorrow and be back on the same bullcrap. You know what I mean? So just chill out because people are going to think what they want and then allow your performance to speak. The strongest argument in sports is just winning. Not this tweeting, not this posting. Y'all thought I was going to lose. Or how somebody lost. Nah, that ain't it. Forget the arguing, forget posting of the bullshit, all the tweeting. Just win. And it's okay to show some vulnerability. People connect with human beings, not with superheroes. You know what I'm saying? That ain't what they connect with. And she shows a bit more of a vulnerable side. But the thing is, people are going to say the shit fake. That's why I say you got to be consistent. And that's why I said it may be beyond repair, anything as far as her and her critics. But when athletes reveal struggles rather than constantly projecting invincibility, people connect. That's why there was a connection with her, man, when she came to boxing there, learned her story. Layla Ali, man, she had Layla Ali there. People could say, man, talk about burning a bridge. But, she want to come, for some reason, everyone has an opinion, but she chose to project invincibility and she deserves more than what she's actually earned. And she chose to battle any and everybody instead of building. You know what I'm saying? She had somebody mentoring her. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to explain the importance of your brand, establishing a rivalry, even going out in the community, charitable causes, whole person concept. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're doing that, no matter what a person wants to think about you, those actions can change those negative narratives over time. But Clarissa chose not to listen. You can't just come do it for one holiday or 2 holidays and then don't do anything the rest of the year. No, you got to be consistent. You got to be active. You got to be out there. I just think the way she's going, and look, she kind of did it to herself, but it's going to be real unfortunate to see her retire without support. And I think this is probably the most important part of the discussion. They want her gone. So she retires without the support that you would think someone with her accomplishments would have earned. I'm telling you, that should be really unfortunate. But hey, she did it to herself. Because at the end of the day, every fighter retires. Every fighter retires. Belts disappear, rankings disappear. If you're doing pay-per-view events, that disappears. That's up and away disappears. But what remains is your legacy. What you're going to be known for. You got a 2-time gold medalist. The idea of ending a career with widespread public resentment, that shit would be tragic. But ain't nobody talking about this to her because they ain't thinking along those lines. You know why? Because they ain't been there and done that. You know what I mean? A lot of us who got a little bit of gray in our hair, had a full career, traveled the world, made mistakes. Everybody has a story. I got a story. Everybody has a story. But when you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, you ain't trying to go back to that bullshit. And when you see somebody younger than you making the mistakes, where you made probably 10 times worse, you try to chirp them up and say, hey, they want to look at it this way. But people either gonna listen to you or they're not. But when you have people around you who just thinking money, 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 they ain't gonna care about all that. Because at the end of the day, those people around Clarissa Shields right now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna play soothsayer right now. Rub the hood champion crystal ball. Or the hood champion bottle of water right here. They ain't gonna be around. Yeah, I said it. I don't think any of them people gonna be around Clarissa 10 years from now. None of them. That's just my opinion. So this legacy that's been ruined, let me tell you something. This shit, the public resentment, it's gonna be tragic. It's not because it's a matter of trying to erase accomplishments. Nothing can erase what she's accomplished. And I'm being real with you. And I just did this whole damn thing. Right here. Hold on a second. I am bugging right now. There. I'm gonna sit here and talk for 30 minutes and ain't even changed my damn thumbnail. Y'all looking at Anthony Joshua the whole time. So I apologize. But it is what it is. Just let you know I'm human, right? But we're gonna keep the goddamn party going, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm about done and I'm not redoing this shit. I don't even think I can remember half the shit I just said anyway. So it is what it is. Anyway, back on Clarissa Shields. Let me drink a little bit of water, man. Those people around her right now, they ain't gonna be there. I'm telling you right now, they ain't gonna be there. Those people are gonna be out of here. So it is what it is. Sports supposed to celebrate your greatness, man. When you got somebody who's a historic athlete reaching retirement and the dominant conversation becomes controversy rather than achievement, that means something's gone wrong. And I'll tell you, with Clarissa Shields' career, she was doing pretty damn good. She was doing pretty damn good up until, and this is just my opinion as an observer, when Papoose got involved. And that's when everything went wrong. I'm not saying there wasn't some pitfalls she was falling into, but I'm just saying she was still up in a way, fighting, had respect. You know, it could be a little bit annoying, but no one wanted to see her fail necessarily. She still had a pretty sound fan base. But you just look now, man, something's gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. Because the conversation that's dominating everything about her is just controversy instead of achievement. So life after boxing, I think retirement, and those of you who are retired like myself, I think we would all agree on this. I think retirement is where your reputation matters the most. You know what I mean? I think that's where it matters the most. You know, people who are former athletes, or whatever you may have done when you had a career and now you're done with it, you tend to rely on public goodwill, man, because there are a lot of people who are, if you were good to people, they'll reach out to you for different opportunities and stuff like that, or sometimes they just check in on you, and that means that you got it right. But for athletes, I think, they may want some kind of opportunities to get involved with broadcasting, sponsorships, speaking engagements, business ventures, media appearances, documentary projects, legacy building opportunities. Just want people to check in on them, see how they're doing. You know what I mean? The athletes who thrive after retirement have spent years building relationships, not burning bridges. And Clarissa, in my opinion, especially over this last year, has burnt a lot of bridges. It's not just about resumes, because the public decides who remains relevant. That's why your image matters, your brand matters. Not more than accomplishments, but alongside the accomplishments. You got to have both. That's why Layla Ali is out here doing her thing. So fans want her gone. How history may judge Clarissa Shields? You know what, man? Years from now, like I keep saying, boxing historians will almost certainly remember Clarissa as one of the greatest fighters ever produced by the sport. Okay? But how will fans remember her? Will she be remembered as a pioneer who fought relentlessly for respect? Will she be remembered as a misunderstood champion? Will she be remembered as a polarizing superstar who never connected with the broader public? Or will she find a way to change the narrative before the final chapter is written? I don't know. But I tell you what, she's 100% committed so much to this relationship with Papoose. From talking about how she feels about him to them being intimate and what she does for him, what he does for her. Across the spectrum, y'all fill in the blanks on shit. As far as money, wanting to get married, having a child, having all this things she's said about his wife. I mean, she has went all in over this relationship. So when you start thinking about how the final chapter is written, as far as changing the present narrative, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know, I don't know. Time will tell, but I don't know. I think that relationship thing, and I listen to the ladies, everybody knows Hood Champion don't care, but it's interesting to me. But I just wonder, boy, if Papoose, it's like I keep saying, he better marry her. He better give her a child. Because if he doesn't, he better find his ass over there next to Russell Simmons somewhere. Or what's her name? Cassie just got that Diddy payout and her ass left the country. He better lead a country. Because, boy, that public humiliation, that's going to be something serious, man. Papoose, better get the hell up out of here. Because everybody's going to be paying attention to that. And if she comes out and is like, hey, look, I felt like I was, at some point in time, she said she felt like she was used and he wasn't really serious. You know, if it comes out of where people are going to believe her. They may say, hey, you know, well, we don't care, that's what you get. But they're going to believe her. He is in a horrible position. Him as the manager, boxing manager, whatever his role is, he's in a horrible position, boy. You know, he's got to marry her. I'm telling you. If he doesn't marry her, man, and he goes off, and especially if she ends up not, you know, being left not with much money, it's just going to make, even if somehow he's innocent and it's not his fault, he's not going to be able to escape that cloud that's going to be hovering over him the rest of his life. Because this shit is so out there that they ain't going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. But anyway, man, it ain't even about a payday. I think Clarissa right now, fans want her gone. They're like, yo, what happened to the GOAT? And hopefully she recognizes what's going on right now because she needs to fight for her legacy, man. You know what I'm saying? She needs to fight for her legacy because her legacy to me is, right now, it's just being a controversial figure who just happens to be able to fight and in a relationship with somebody who still happens to be legally married, and whether you agree or don't agree, this is just what people talk about. Nobody talking about her greatness and what she can do in that ring. Nobody. You know why? Because she doesn't talk about it. And unlike boxing matches, that legacy that she need to be fighting for to try to salvage, that legacy is judged long after the final bell rings. So, you know, big vote, if you listen to my videos, this probably may be one of the most important ones. You better really think about your legacy. I'm telling you right now. Forget the boxing matches. That legacy is judged long after the final bell rings. What are people going to remember about you? Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.